Do you ever use the words, money does not grow on trees? Do you find yourself telling your children that? Do you find yourself telling your children, we can't afford it? Or we've got to save for a rainy day? How about we must pinch our pennies? These are things that you may have learned growing up. We are going to be talking about that tonight. Hey, y'all, I'm Carmen Bernard of Carmen10K.com, founder and CEO of Big Facts LLC. And tonight, my partner and I are going to be talking about money and women. Women and money. This is an important topic. I'm live on Instagram also on our Millionaire Ladies Mob. So please give us a like and a follow. Share this information. Aaliyah, it's good to be back. How are you? Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
I am great. I am Aaliyah Sherrod, the healthcare queen. I help individuals, families, small businesses, especially you small business owners, with your healthcare. I make sure you pick the perfect plan for you and your family. I am hailing from Buckeye, Arizona. I love it out here. It's beautiful. We're going to talk about money because it's important. Money makes the world go round. And what Carmen said, money doesn't grow on trees. Yeah, I know that saying very, very well. Also, in order to get that money out of the ATM, you got to have something in there. Kids think it just comes out naturally, So we're going to talk about ways to make sure that you know how your money is being spent. What money? We are talking about money today and women.
That's right. It's Women's History Month. So it's important that we focus on women this month, right? Earlier today, I saw a video of what our life would be like if we didn't have women inventors. And I was shocked by some of the things that women invented, including the GPS, at least the foundation for the GPS map. What else did I see? I think I saw things like the dishwasher. There were a whole lot of them. If I can find that video, I'm definitely going to post it or share it again. But
question, one thing. So we're talking about women inventing lots of really cool gadgets, but you know why they invented those gadgets? Out of necessity. I have a sink. It's brand new, supposedly, but when I turn it on, it has some kind of, you have to touch it. And who invented that? A man. A man invented that because a woman would not do something like that.
We are not bashing anybody.
Trying to save some money.
Oh my goodness. I'm sure there was a reason for it. Like you got to touch it and then it's going to turn off by itself. Let me tell you, at school, when I taught, you guys, I taught for 15 years in the public school system. And we at one point got a brand new school. And this was prior to COVID, y'all. Mm-hmm. So in order for when you went to the sink to wash your hands, you did not have to touch the sink. You just put your hands like under and the water would come out. And but you didn't have to turn it off either. It would just turn off itself. But you know what happened? I would come home, turn on the sink, use the water, and walk away. Keep forgetting that it doesn't even turn off like it did at school. I spent so much time at school. I would always be leaving the water running. And families go, who left this water running? It was me. It was me because I was so accustomed all day long to just having it turn off by itself.
Carmen, you said you were a teacher. Yes. Did they teach? I heard there's some uproar about what they teach in school, especially how kids and money. Do they teach us any? Life skills nowadays in the school systems?
So they're trying to get better with it, but no, not the way it should be taught. I remember when I first started teaching because I taught business, and the things that were on the curriculum that I taught were things like teaching children how to write a check, how to balance a checkbook, which is super important. You still need to know that. Although now most of us are not writing checks, but they still need to understand the concept that the money, like you said earlier today, the money that you get from the ATM got in there somehow. You first have
Mhm.
to put it there. You can't just go to any ATM and just take money out without putting it there. And if you're doing that because you're using maybe a credit card or something else, it's a problem. And definitely we need to be teaching our children this because we are making dysfunctional adults. I'm telling you. They're graduating from high school, they're going to college, they're in college, and they cannot explain um, a credit card properly, or how a credit card works, or how, when and why should you even be using a credit card. What is interest? What is APR? What is APY? They do not know or understand
Really?
any of those things because we are not teaching that specifically. So it's on you and I, right, to be the grandmas of the world and make sure they teach them. Hey, that's a good thing for a new podcast for us from a grandmother's point of view. What do you think?
I like that because we have some interesting, when I was, 18, 16, 17, 18, I thought my mother didn't know nothing. You don't know nothing. And all the older people around me. But as you grow older, you think about, if I had just done this and listened to somebody, we all have to listen to somebody. And money, it makes this world go round, whether it's you have a little bit of money or a lot of money. Money helps with us to buy things. It helps to pay for your housing, your vehicle. It pays for your health care. It pays for a lot of stuff. And if we don't have a good relationship with money, or if we don't really know and understand how money works, then we may not have a great relationship with our money, and we won't have anywhere to tell our money to go and
Yeah.
what it's supposed to do.
Absolutely. And if you're listening right now, we'd love for you to tell us what is money for, right? Tell us in the comments what is money for, and I'm going to make sure that I come back and answer that question from our point of view, from what we do. I keep forgetting to look up here to the Instagram people if you've joined us. You know what? It's a good thing I didn't look up because it never ever went live. I'm going to go ahead and hit it now so that it can go live.
Oh my goodness.
If you're joining us on Instagram, we started talking. My friend Aaliyah and I are here. You can hear Aaliyah, but you cannot see her. But we are talking about women and money, right? Where is it important, especially when it comes to women? My son gets upset when I say, so when I kind of separate women from men. He's like, what do you mean? That's just some kind of sexist gender thing, mom. But no, the truth of the matter is that women, as women, we get treated a whole lot differently when it comes to money. And because of that, we have to understand how we take control of our money. And we can't do that unless we understand how money works. And we're going to give you 6 concrete steps tonight, 6 or 7, to make sure that we get to that point. Let's talk a little bit, Aaliyah. What did you learn about money when you were growing up? I know for me, it was we can't afford it. For me, money was always I've grown up with that negative connotation when it comes to money, right? We can't afford it. We got to pinch our pennies. We got to save for a rainy day. We don't have it, much less, money doesn't grow on trees and things like that. I find myself when I was younger telling my children the same thing because that's what I learned and that's what most of us learn. How about you? What did you learn about money?
My dad taught us that money doesn't grow on trees, like you said, but he also taught us, very young age, that you have to work for what you want. He would get up, sundown. He was a real estate broker, and he started his own business. But guess who taught him? It was an Oriental guy back then who taught him about real estate, and he sold his company to him. And believe it, we were African Americans in the African American community, and our company name was Cebu Realty. And so they thought, when people called, they thought we were Orientals.
So
And
listen, let me pause you right there for a
mhm.
second, right? Because I was corrected one day that I'm not supposed to say Oriental, so it's
Oh,
Asians.
Asian. Okay, I'm sorry.
Asians. Right. So we do not want to offend anybody just
I'm
because we
sorry.
don't know. I had to take that and learn. But it's awesome when you learn, right? Someone said, I was taught to hide your money even from yourself. Well, you know what? That's a good idea as long as you're hiding it someplace that is making money for you,
Well, at least you can
right?
find it.
Right, right. At least you can find it. But listen, there are certain things that we can do with money as we're hiding it,
Yeah,
that end up we end up losing some of it because we don't really understand what money is for and
that's
how does
true.
it work,
My
right?
grandmother used to hide it in the drawer, but we didn't
Yeah,
know where it was. But
yeah,
no, money again, like I had to work hard for my money. I started working when I was 15 because my father wanted us to understand you just I'm not just going to give you something. He
right.
wanted us to understand that you have to work for this. And the biggest lesson I learned, and I'm going to be quiet, was when I graduated from high school and I'm just going to do what I want to do. You know, he wanted me to go to college. I didn't because I was working at the company. So he quit my job for me. I'm just doting around, at this fabric shop and just doing nothing. And he quit the job for me on a Sunday. And the lady says, "Oh, I hate to see you go." I said, "What are you talking about?" "Oh, your father called." Like, "Oh, okay."
Dad did you a favor.
He did me a big favor. So I started working at the company and I decided I'm the daughter of the owner of the company, walked in there. He had already left. So I come in there, it was probably about 10 minutes late. I walked up the stairs with like I'm going to work. He told me, he was at the door, turned me around and in some different words, told me to go home. And when I decided I want to come back to work on time, I could come back.
Oh wow.
I
I
learned that
love
that
those
was the lesson.
lessons.
That
I
was,
love those.
I'm
You
never late. You call me to go somewhere, I'm never late.
Hey, I
I
love
learned that
those
lesson.
lessons. I love that. And I love that you were able to have someone to help instill some of
Yes.
those lessons in you. Because the fact of the matter is that when we grow up learning these negative messages about money,
Hmm.
we tend to have this scarcity mindset,
Right.
right? And if we have a scarcity mindset, we're not going to make the best decisions. So, and then we turn around and pass that down to our children.
Yeah.
And for women in particular, it's important that we break that cycle, get rid of that scarcity thinking, and open up our minds and hearts to the possibility of our financial futures, right? And
Hmm.
why do I say this? Yo, listen to this number, Aaliyah.
Okay.
By 2030, where are we? We are at 2024. That's 6 years from now. Women are expected to control 30 million. 30 trillion. 30 trillion.
Wow.
Now that's the accent in me. I'm a foreigner. What can I say? 30 trillion dollars of financial assets in the US, which is about 2/3 of the entire wealth of the nation.
Oh, wow.
Women. So that's the reason, one of the reasons why it's important for us to assert ourselves and take control of our money, huh?
Wow. That's 6 years from now,
30
30
trillion.
trillion.
30 trillion.
And would that be because the baby boomers are getting inheritance, or did they give a reason for that wealth? Is it because they had inheritance? What?
So that's a good thing for us to look at and see why and where all that money is actually
Okay.
coming from that we're controlling. But what's more important, right, is what do we do and how do we change the where we came from to make sure that we really are a part of that and be able to do something with it, right? Because as women, I know you've heard this, that we earn the majority of college and graduate degrees, right? Women do. Black women, especially,
Mm-hmm.
we make up nearly half of the workforce and we hold more than half of the management and professional careers.
Really?
We do. Where it goes wrong, we made a whole lot of progress with that, but it does not translate when it comes to the money because unfortunately, we still make less than men. For every dollar that they make, we only make 82 cents.
Oh my goodness. I did a special a series on that a few years ago about the disparity in the salaries and what women make as opposed to men, and then what African American women make as opposed to anyone. It's
Right.
we're and I hate to say this, the lowest paid on the totem pole. Now there are some anomalies.
Of
There are some women
course,
that make some big money.
of course.
But for the most part, we've got to fight for everything. I had to, in my work life, I've had to be the hardest worker in the room. That was because of my work ethic. That was one thing, because my dad taught me to never be late. So you wouldn't catch me being late to work because I just couldn't do it. But
Yeah.
the kids nowadays, it's they go when they want to go, and then they're entitled that, you have to pay me anyway. And there's all these lawsuits, all this stuff. It's like, go to work, get paid, do what you're supposed to do. A lot of people just don't want to do that. And when
That's right.
when it comes to the money, they want the big bucks. But what are you doing for the big bucks? You have to be fruitful. I worked hard, and I outworked everybody. I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed work. I enjoy what I do right now because I had to figure out my niche. I love insurance, and I just had to figure out the niche that I really wanted to concentrate on. And that is where I see women. And when you said back in the day, what women did back in the day was the husband, because it was mostly two-parent households, the husband managed all the money.
Yeah.
So the woman, when something happened to the husband, would be caught unawares, wouldn't know where a lot of stuff was. It doesn't happen like that often, and in today's age, it doesn't happen like that.
You would be surprised.
Please surprise me, because
You
I
would be surprised. It is
really
happening.
still happens
Listen,
like that.
it still happens like that, and for many other reasons.
And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not saying
No, no,
anything negative about it.
oh, of course.
You
Like
know,
I
it's
said, we earn 82 cents on average for every dollar that a man makes. And the FBI network has joined us on Instagram, and they've commented we aren't getting equal pay. We aren't getting equal pay for 40% less than men. And of course, that fake figure could be an absolutely true figure. But on the overall, um, what you saying? You were afraid to mention that it's worse for Black women. Well, the thing of the matter is, when white America sneezes, Black America has a cold. Or Black America has the flu. That's how it goes. That's how it happens. I'm sorry. All right. But we just gotta roll with the punches. And Lady BK, thank you for joining us here on Facebook,
yeah,
FBI
welcome.
Network. Thank you for joining us on Instagram. And she says it still happens, and it's true that it still happens. One part of the reason why we end up making a lot less than men is because we stay home. We are the caregivers. We are the backbone. We take time away from our careers in order to raise the children, to take care of the sick children, to take care of the special need children, to take care of our parents, right? You and I are in that sandwich generation where not only are we taking care of children or grandchildren, but we also are taking care of parents, right? So we take time away from work for that. We also take time away from work for caring for partners or any other members of the family. Traditionally, I'm not saying all the time, but traditionally, it's the woman that takes the time off. And when we do that, when we take time off to raise our kids and take care of sick people, these interruptions cause significant, alter significant chances for promotions or to be able to earn higher incomes, right? Because we're
Right.
home. We're home. We're taking the time away. It also, we might not think about it, but it also interrupts us from being able to be vested fully in retirement benefits, right? Because we're
That's
working
right.
less,
That's right.
right? They're looking at numbers, actual numbers. We're working less, right? These caregiving responsibilities. What else happens is that when you're away from work for 20 years, you might have your degree, your master's degree, you might have worked done lots of different, but when you're away from work for 15 years or 10 years or 6 or 7 or 12 years, when you go back, you got to build up that confidence. So you're probably going to go take more of an entry level job, a job that you are more qualified for, but now you're trying to find your way, find your space, right?
Yeah.
Hence, we end up taking lower paying jobs, and 2/3 of the low paying jobs are held by women. So
Oh,
that doesn't gel, right? Because we have the most education, but we are in low paying jobs. And for
mm,
those reasons, right?
mm,
When we go back, we're more likely to take those low paying jobs or entry level jobs or things like that.
mm. Remember years ago when you worked as an assistant, you were called a secretary. That
Mm-hmm.
that job, a secretary, was more powerful than pretty much anybody in that office because she ran that office. That secretary ran that office and that whoever that executive was. And I think about back in the day how we used to be treated, how women used to be treated. They didn't make that much money, but they were the brains of the business. We had business sense. We knew how to talk to clients. We know how to talk to customers. We know how to comfort kids. So that's why we're nurturers. Technically, or at heart, we are nurturing. Our personalities are nurturing, but now we had to be strong and stand up, not strong and
Mm-hmm.
fight, but fight not physically, but fight mentally. Because if you
Yep.
are going to work and you're not getting paid what you're supposed to, you got to go home and you got to, cook and clean and feed the kids. And I saw a little meme the other day. This guy, he said he was listing all the things that his mother did when they were little, and how he said, there is no way I'm not coming home after 8 hours, 9 hours a day at work. I'm coming
Right.
home doing homework, cooking and cleaning and making sure that he put it in perspective, but this was a man's view, but this is, we just did it naturally, you know?
Exactly.
We
Exactly.
had to.
Exactly. Lady of BK says more than 5 years of unemployment sets you back on the latest market trends and information, and it's for that reason. That reason that we go in and we start from the bottom when we're qualified to start um, higher, but
Yeah.
because we don't know what is going on right now, because we took that time away, whether it was to rear kids, raise kids, or whatever. The other thing is, with everything we talked about women, um as we tried to climb that ladder, I said that 2/3 of the lower paying jobs were held by women, right? But 48% of women are entry level workers,
Oh,
right?
wow.
And only 26% of women are at the top, right? So for these reasons are the reasons why we need to talk about women and money, because we get our money differently. So we have to truly understand how to make what we get work and how to control it. So another statistic I'm going to throw out, or another number I'm going to throw out at you. The median annual earnings for men, and this was taken from the U.S. Department of Labor in 2022.
Mhm.
Median annual income is $61,180 for men. And for women, it's $51,226. So it's like $10,000 a year. So just think about that. What could you do with an extra $10,000 a year, right?
Yeah.
Or what could a single mom do with an extra $10,000 a year,
Mhm. Wow.
right?
Wow.
So it's absolutely important. And think about that over a career. An extra $10,000 turns into four adds up to $400,000 of lost earnings,
Wow.
right? $400,000 less that we didn't have to pay our debts. 400,000 less that we didn't have to pay on credit cards. We didn't have it to pay it. We didn't have $400,000 less to pay on our tuitions, right? $400,000 less to put towards retirement,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Retirement.
Right. So she says, poor kids, because I'm going to Target with her 10,000.
And Target. I love Target.
Tarjay, they used to say Tarjay. Listen, man, I'm telling you, women, because of all the reasons we stated, we receive about 80% of what men receive in Social Security benefits, which, by the way, it's the reason why many women will end up claiming on their husband's benefits, because sometimes half of their benefits is going to be more than what our benefit would qualify for. So,
Okay.
you're married more than 10 years or something. And as long as you didn't get divorced, I mean, sorry, as long as you didn't get remarried, right, you're still eligible to claim on your husband's. I think,
I like that. And that's one of the reasons why, and back in the day, people got married because, you're a family, you're a family unit. Something happens to the head of the household, you could claim Social Security. I'm not knocking anything that people do now. It's okay. I'm just saying back then, and then you think about it, 10 years of marriage, what you said is a key number. 10 years of marriage, you get to claim on the Social Security.
yeah.
That's something that people need to think about, just
Mhm.
in case. I mean, what happens to you if something happens to your spouse or your significant other? What happens to you? We don't think about those things. And I look at what happens today. People aren't prepared for catastrophes. And there's so many that happened. When COVID came, it opened up a lot of people's eyes on a lot of things. It really did, because there was a pandemic in the 1900s.
Yes,
But so we didn't know about it because we weren't born.
we
Now
Marvin.
we can talk about it. When 50 years from now, they're going to be talking about it. That pandemic, what happened?
Right. You
Life
know,
changed.
and like you said, that opened up a lot of people's eyes. And so people have made changes, but
Yes.
it's funny with tragedy. It will open up our eyes and it will say move, and we will devour to do this and do that. And then a year or two later, a couple months later, just like our New Year's resolutions, we're just back to wherever. We're just back to whatever we were doing before. It's business as usual and
Mhm.
things like that. And with the pandemic not that far behind us, many of us have gone back to old old habits.
I
Um,
have to agree with you there. Now, the only habit that I did not go back to is I don't eat out
mm,
as much as I did.
okay.
I make sure I cook at home. Like right now, I got to go turn my stove off. I forgot about it. So I'm going to step away for just a minute. I have something cooking.
All righty,
I
yes,
eat
go,
from home. I'll be
go
right
ahead,
back.
go. Yeah, but it's absolute. Go ahead, go.
Right
It
back.
is It's absolutely important that we talk about these things. One of the things that Aaliyah mentioned just now was the fact that many women, we kind of um, leave the money stuff to our husbands. Traditionally, we used to do that. Now, with this new generation, I don't know how that's going to work, because people are trying to talk about 50-50, and even not just dating, but 50-50 in the household and all sorts of things. So I mean, you do you, but what if you're 50-50? Make sure you're understanding the whole thing about how money works and everything about your situation. But as Aaliyah stated before, that was something typically left to the men to do.
Mhm.
And here is a sad truth: men die before us.
Hmm.
We live longer than men, and a lot of times when they're gone, if they were handling all the things, we're left in a lurch. We don't know what to do. We don't know what we have. We don't know if there was ever any protection there. We don't know anything, so we have to basically start over. So one of the things that we need to do right now is start talking about money. So that's number one. I told you we'll talk about six or seven things, but number one, we have to talk about money, right? We got to talk about those things, what keeps us up at night, right? We talk about everything else, But when it comes to money, that's a taboo subject. We're not talking about that with our families. We're not talking about that with our friends. We're not talking about that with anybody, right? And a conversation or two might be the thing that enlightens you to make some decisions today that is good for your future, right? So we need to talk about if you or think about think about if you're worried about outliving your money, right? And what do you need to do? Because you don't want to get there and then realize that I'm going to be out now, so that you do not outlive your money, right? Who's going to take care of you if you get sick? The children grow up, they're grown, they move away, they have their own families, they're working. What happens to you? So are you thinking about long-term care? This is one of Aaliyah's favorite topics when it comes to long-term care. When she talks about health insurance, you might not think that has to do with money, but it's a big part to do with your money. Your health is your wealth, and how you take care of it, how you strategically set up your money to help to take care of your health will determine how much wealth you even have left, if you have any, right?
You are so right, Carmen. One thing is, if you don't have help, I'm just going to use an example. I have a few goals that I was trying to reach. I'm going to take try out of my vocabulary.
Yes.
That were on my list. And so I had a minor accident, and my knee, it's like it was gonna give out, because I was really doing these steps and something happened with my knee. I didn't think about it, but that is dampening a lot of my thought process now. It's like, oh man, this was on my list. You have to think about, if something happens to you, just a plain old slip and fall. Yeah. It could change your life. A client of mine fell off of a ladder. He just retired. I'm going to work on the house. I haven't been able to do it. So he got on this ladder and was doing something at the top of the house and fell off the ladder. Life changed forever. He wasn't hurt like critical, but his walking ability and everything changed. It wasn't life-threatening, but it was life-altering.
Yes. Yeah.
So money, how are you going to, what are you going to do with, when you think about it, your life is altered, okay? Yep. Altering your life, you have to think about those things. We don't want to talk about it. We have to talk about it. Money is the root of evil, and also money can help us tremendously. The love of money is the root of evil. Don't love it. But having money helps you buy stuff, helps you become a hoarder. It helps you get to the grocery store, helps you go and take vacations. Those money helps in a lot of ways. But what about 10 years from now? Are you spending all of your money today and not having to, not worrying about tomorrow? Because women are living longer.
Yeah. Listen.
Is that number 3?
So no, so number 2 is to know your financial situation, right? So number 1 was to talk about money, have these conversations, join in with us. Hey, John Quick, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Join in with us. Talk about these things. If you're worried about creating generational wealth, leaving money for your family, for your children, for your grandchildren, and those things, let's talk about it now, so that you can do something about it. So number 2 was to know your financial situation. And when we talk about knowing your financial situation, we want to talk about knowing exactly what you are paid, right?
What you're paid?
Exactly how much money you're bringing in, right? Look at your pay stubs, right? You got to know where you are. Look at your pay stubs. Look at bank statements, right? From your pay stubs, know how much is being taken out for taxes, know how much is being taken out for retirement, know how much is being taken out for whatever it is that is coming out and what you're bringing home. Look at your bank statements. That will show you what you've been spending your money on, right? Yeah. Look at that. Look at insurance coverage, right? Look at your retirement and investment account statements, and do not be afraid to speak to someone. A lot of times we become apprehensive when it comes to talking about money to someone. We might have a 401k at work, so we might be putting away some money, or we may not. Well, how else? What else do I do? You don't just want to you want to look at all of your options. Are you just putting money into a savings account, or do you want to look at putting money into a Roth? Did you know that we can help you with setting up a Roth account? You can come to us, we can help you to set up a Roth account. We can help you to set up an annuity. We can help you to, you have 401k sitting someplace, we can help you to move that someplace so that it's making money and not sitting losing money someplace where you have control and you have choices. But look at your retirement and investment account statement. See what is going on. Are you on track to where you need to be in 10, 20 years, 30 years? Even if you're 30, maybe 35 years. If you're 40s, maybe 20, 25 years. Look at your loan. Look at debts. Look at your loan and credit card statements, right? That was number 2. You got anything to add to that?
No.
Okay. So number 3 is eliminate the unnecessary spending and things like that, right? I'm sure you can list some things that you can eliminate, Aaliyah. What do you think? What do you say?
Oh, you know what? I did this about a year or so ago. I eliminated a lot of unnecessary. When COVID came, I eliminated a lot of unnecessary spending, but I became like not a survivalist, but like a fearful of not having,
Right.
because you couldn't, when you went to the store, the long line, or you couldn't find things, or alcohol was out, or whatever. That happened. But now those bad habits started creeping back in as far as me buying unnecessary things. So I have I have cable and stuff. It's like I never I look at the news probably in the morning and in the evening. That's it. Why do I have the whole cable system? Because I do Netflix and things like that. Now it's a couple of $100 a month. It's like I can do something with that. But how stupid I was to sign a contract when I first moved in the house. So now I'm waiting until the end of the contract so I can cancel that stuff. There are little things like that I really need to start paying more attention to. Buying these channels that, you get it free for 14 days or, 30 days.
And then forget to cancel it.
Forget to cancel.
Yeah, but streaming services, you're absolutely right. Many of us have several of them that even cross each other, right? We might have Hulu, we have Netflix, we have whomever else. And we can't look at but one of them at a time. Mm-hmm. So get rid of it. And even if it's $10 a month, that's $120 a year, right? Mm-hmm. Late fees and overdraft charges. Try not to get those. Sometimes we forget. Oh, I know I'm going to pay this. I have it on my calendar. And then the time runs out. The next day we forgot to do it. Got so busy that day we didn't pay that bill. Just automate it, so that you don't have to pay that extra money. When you're looking, if you're paying if your bill is $30 and you're paying a $30 late fee, that's 100% that you're paying above, so we got to look at that. So look at your credit card debt, try to see what you can pay down, how you can lower that. There's got different ways and strategies of doing that. You either take the one with the lowest balance and try to pay that off and then move the money from that to the higher one, or take the one with the highest interest rate. Typically we tell people, if you're trying, we like to see results. So start with the smaller one and get that off and move that money into this other thing. But just look and try to, the other thing is getting your credit reports and check and make sure what errors are on there, what things are incorrect, and remove them, because those things affect your score. So pull your credit report at least once a year. And
let me ask you a question. I keep getting these emails about all these breaches. There's a breach. Now, there's a huge one going on right now with insurance carriers, and it's disrupting all kinds of stuff. You have to pay attention when you're giving your personal information. What I'm going to start doing now, I usually go to the doctor, give my debit card and do whatever. I'm going to start taking that back and saying, you're not authorized to use this card without my express permission. I would just
Mhm.
give it, and just give it. And it's like, no, I've got to control this. You can't, because my bill or my copay or whatever my portion is, because I don't go and pay. You're going to
Mhm.
bill me. When I go to the doctor, I say, can you bill me? Because I
Mhm.
want to control that. I don't want, you to have to owe me money. I have a high deductible plan. I don't have the regular, just plain old copay, because that's how I like it, because I want to control it. But they have my credit card on file, my debit card on file. I need to change that
And
because I can be,
also,
go ahead, tell me give
yeah,
me some advice, because I had them swipe it and I'm like, who told you to do that? I have an HSA account that I pay my,
right,
and
right.
they just took it off my debit card. So there are little things like that I have to.
That's right. I agree with you with that. And then the other thing is to make sure we have lots of um fail safe things in that we can use even with your bank. You can set it up where your bank will tell you every single time your card is used for something. You can set up all sorts of rules and things like that. So we should take advantage of that, right?
Mhm.
And the last one I want to say on number 3 is to try to eliminate bad financial habits, right? Um, the lattes and the Starbucks and the whatever, I am not saying to get rid of all of your fun. I'm just saying to just start reeling it in a little, because there's so much more that we can put our money toward, especially when it comes to our future, right? So number 4 is setting financial goals,
Oh, okay. Okay.
right? Number
How do
4 is
you do that?
huh?
How do you do that? You just,
So, a lot of us, we're good for setting short-term goals,
okay.
right? 0 to 5 years, we're setting our some short-term goals, things like um, well, let's say medium-term goals, right? Things like buying a house, things like, or upgrading, going to a bigger house. You just moved into a bigger house, didn't you?
I did, and after I think about it, it's like it's kind of too, it's small, but it's more room than I really need.
No, you don't. You need that room because when I come, you need space for me. So
I
So
do.
you're gonna need space for me. So that
And I,
room is enough. That room is enough. But then, well, so we do things like short-term goals, vacation, buying a home, medium term, buying a home. But we suck a little bit when it comes to long-term goals, right?
yeah.
When it comes to looking at things like long-term care, looking at things like retirement, right? And how will that really work? I get really, really, really saddened when I run into elder, and
Yeah.
not really elder, right? 65, 68 years old, 70, and they're retiring. They got a good 25, 30 years in front of them, but they're retiring with $100,000, right? That's not going to go too far, you know? And likewise, even if you are retiring with $1 million, you need to be thinking about how because now that you're going to stop working, you might have to draw, not might, you will have to draw down, because even if you don't stop working, the government want their money back, so they make you draw down. Once you get to 72, you got to draw down. So how will you put the rest of the money to work for you, right? Because you got to go 20, 25 years. That's a good long time for that
That's a
money to
long
keep
time.
growing, so that you don't run out of money, right?
And your health
So
is not getting better in those 25 years.
that's right. That's right. Also, it's making sure that you have long-term care. It's making the decision: do you want to pay for your own long-term care? Which bucket you're going to use? Your savings bucket, your money that you had for to take care of you for the rest of your life, is that the one you're going to use? Because statistics shows that many of us end up in a long-term care kind of thing for at least 5 years once we're
Oh,
over
wow.
65, you know? And so what do you want to do, right? I've heard people say, well, I got money, I don't have to worry about that. But they don't realize that sometimes medical care is costing $30,000 a month when it comes to certain medications and this and that. It's ridiculous, right?
Oh, it is, Carmen. When I sit down with a senior, and I'm not even doing any financial planning with them. I'm sitting down going over Medicare. They're turning 65. They're leaving their job, and they're now they have to make the decisions. The job doesn't make the decisions for them. So I sit down with them and I tell them how much this is and how much that is. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought this was free. What was I paying all my life for?
Right.
Free. It's not.
That's a myth, right? Because we think, oh, we're paying for Medicare, so now it's time for Medicare to start paying, but it's not free, right? It's not free. I need to do a video on that about some Medicare myths, right? But those are some of the things that we need to do, right? So once we set those goals, we need to come up with a plan, and that's number 5, right? We need to come up with a plan of how to achieve them, right? Uh, I read somewhere that nearly 75% of women do not have a plan for their financial goals, including retirement, right? And like you said, why didn't we have it? We left it to our husbands, right?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you something. So you thought of something really ingenious with you have a side hustle, not side hustle, but a side business where you can supplement your whole retirement package with buying not real estate, but tax liens.
Yes, yeah, and it really is real estate, but it's just going about it a different way,
Different
right?
way. She's the queen on that. You were going to have a class, and I was like waiting for it. When is it going to be?
Man, I've just been too busy. I really do really need to do that though. But I'm gonna, we sit on here and we give away, free I'm not gonna call it advice. We share knowledge and things like that, right? But there are some things that I am going to take local inside of a group. So you want to be, I already got some people that want to learn about that, and I'm gonna take that off their specific just out for everybody.
But
You know,
listen, because we know you, we see you every week. We've seen you for the last couple of years. I would trust you more than I would see that guy on YouTube. Hey, make money on this, make money. They do it. And see, people are looking for ways to make extra money to supplement whatever, even they're just their everyday living. But now we got to think about your retirement. How are you going to supplement your retirement if you didn't make enough? If you didn't put enough away, you didn't buy that policy, you didn't have the 401k, you didn't have the IRA, you didn't have, what if you didn't have all that stuff? There are ways to make extra money, but that's a whole nother episode.
that is a whole nother episode, but really and truly, we got to decide. Sometimes that we don't have enough. My mom used to say, you can't get blood from a stone, And by the way, y'all, my mom is my number one favorite, my favorite fan. If you see my stuff and nobody likes it, I can guarantee you I'm gonna go back and there's gonna be one like on there, and it's from my mom. So and now my second favorite is my granddaughter Journey. She's make sure, because for some reason she has access to some social media, because she, by the way, go look for her and follow her and like her or whatever. But she makes sure that she likes my stuff and listens to my stuff, and she makes her dad listen to. She's like, Bucky is on. We gotta watch it. We cannot not listen.
That's wonderful. And you know what? These kids nowadays have so much opportunity. It was just like when the computers came out, and we were like, this guy told me, he says, there's going to be something called the internet. It's the information highway. I said, you gotta be kidding me. That's what I said.
Well, you remember when we were saying how we would be able to buy things and they can be able to send it to our door and we can be able to go online? No, we don't really need to leave our house. We can do all that stuff. The Jetsons
You don't have to walk out the door.
Right?
Things have changed, and these young people have the opportunity to create the kind of world they want to create. Here's another thing that just blew up: AI.
Oh, yes.
It's like there's so many things in learning. Our brains can take and absorb so much. Use it to our benefit to learn about how our money works, create additional income for our retirement so that it can help us when we get certain ages when we can't work.
Right. Listen, so we were talking about us deferring our family financial planning to men. 80% of women die single, while
Oh,
80% of men die married.
wait, say that again. 80% of women die single?
Yes, why? Because our husbands already passed on.
And then what was the men?
80% of men die married.
Oh my God.
So then we now not only have we lost our spouse, but now we have to worry about the something that we didn't take care of the whole time because the men were taking care of it. Because we've been deferring that to our husbands. So that's another reason, like we said, that we have to talk about. So we got to make a plan. We got a plan for what if, right? What if? The other thing is that more than 70% of nursing home residents and almost two-thirds of Alzheimer's patients are women.
Oh man.
Yeah. So that's why it's important for you and I to get on here on Thursday nights and talk about money. And this month we're talking about women. And Saran is not here tonight. She's off giving some important speech somewhere. But Saran specifically tailors women as that's her what she likes to do and take care of. For some reason, I do love women. I want to help women, but I want to help everybody, right? I'm that mama, I'm that grandma, I'm that one that when I'm talking about money and whatever, I'm not specifically only speaking to women, although tonight we are. and tonight we are, but and I think for you as well, right? Because we do not just life insurance and health insurance, but we do Medicare. And if you're listening to us and you're not ready for Medicare, I'm sure you have an aunt, a mom, a dad, a uncle, somebody that needs someone that is competent and that has integrity and that is patient, that can help your loved ones when it comes to that. And those people are people like my good friend Aaliyah and I, because those are the things that we do, right? But it's critical that as women that we do long-term planning, because as I said before, more than 70% of residents in long-term care homes are women. And it makes sense, right? I said we live longer, and more than two-thirds of them that have Alzheimer's are women. So we got to do long-term planning because we're the ones that end up in the nursing homes with Alzheimer's, right? And I know you might be listening. I'm not being gloom and doom, and you might be saying, not me. But if it's not you, then it's your mom, it's your brother. It's your sister, it's your aunt, it's your friend, it's your best friend. It's those people, right? So we have to be the example for women in our lives in helping them to plan for the future.
I agree with that. So how many things we went over? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Yep. Number 6 is to save and invest more money. We've got to save and invest more money, and saving and investing are two different things. But once we have our goal and our plan in place, then we need to be saving and investing more money, right? Both women and men report that was their number one regret, that they did not save enough money, right? So we don't want you to make that mistake, right? We believe that many of us would think that, it takes a long time or it takes a lot of money to save and invest. But the truth of the matter is, if we just save $1 a day, we got $30 by the end of the month. All right. And we have $365 by the end of the year.
$1 a day. You know what?
$1 a day.
I remember I gave myself a challenge that all the change that I had at the end of the day, I'd put it away. And then it started getting harder and harder because I wasn't making change.
We don't use change anymore. We almost don't use money.
We don't really use money.
We don't really use money, right? But the thing again, if we say $5 a day, and a lot of accounts will even let us do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't use money a day. We can't put it in at the end or whatever. But a lot of things will let us do a little separate account that you can move money over into or whatever. But $5 a day equals to $150 a month, and that equals to $1,825 a year,
Wow.
right? And the same thing, $10 a day, that's $300 a month, and that's 3650 a year. So we can actually save, right? We can. How many of us, well, when we may not be spending $10 every day to eat out, but a lot of us are doing that, you know. So we do have the potential, and with compounding, which we talk about, it's the magic, the eighth wonder of the world. Those who know it earn it, and those who don't pay it. But we talk and teach you about compounding and understanding time value of money. Our money have the potential of growing to be able to reach to our goals. So that was number 6. And the final one, number 7, is to learn how money works. How do you do that? Come meet with us. Come
You
join us
actually
on
have that
Thursday
course.
nights.
You actually do that course about how money works, right?
I sure do. I sure do. So come join with us. Come meet us. Bring your children. Bring your young teenagers. Bring your young adults. Um, in the early 20s that's just starting working, that's just as insolent as Aaliyah was when she was 18, that thought she wasn't going to do this and she wasn't going to do that. And you tell them that they're going to come, you're going to do this and you're not going to do that, but you want to come here and listen, because those are the people with their health, right? Because their health is their wealth. Well, all of our health is their wealth, but their
Mhm.
health is their credit when it comes to a lot of the things that I'm talking about. So, Lady BK says, speaking of change, I have a bucket of quarters. Banks believe that in 5 years it will be useless, done away with. So
Oh,
go and cash in those coins. And that's right, go cash those coins in and put it somewhere where it's going to earn some money, and understand about how money is compounding, right? What interest are they paying and how is it compounding? You can find a bank that's going to be compounding daily. It's where we want to put our money, because that means that we're earning interest on top of interest. And
that's
if we had $100 in there and they're paying 1%, and it is compounding daily, the next day we will have $101.
right. Mm.
And then we're going to earn on $101. So now we'll have $101.10 rather than. So know who is paying what. And definitely, if you have more money just sitting in a bank account, it is not doing you any good. Money needs to be working and moving. And I'm going to answer that question that I asked earlier. I didn't see anyone put it in any of the comments, but we don't see all of them. But what is money for? Money is to make more money. That's what it is. Money is there. It's a tool, and we use it to make more money. Money needs to have little money babies. Okay. That's what we do with money.
Wow.
And so join us every Thursday as we continue to talk about money, because not knowing how money works will cost your family dearly. It
Mhm.
means things like you pay higher premiums for your insurance. It means things like you have to use a credit card for your emergency funds. It means that you're paying more in interest on your debts, right? It might even mean that you're living paycheck to paycheck, right? How do you not do that? You may need to add some more income in there. And we are the people. You can do what we're doing and be able to add some more money, right? So you're not living paycheck to paycheck. So the paycheck that you have right now is going to continue to do what you do, but the other one is going to do the things that you really need, that you also need to be doing, right? It's going to make sure that you're able to set aside money for retirement and money for long term care, right? Um, so that's what we do. That's what we teach. That's what we're continuing to teach. It's not a It's not advice. We're not giving you any kind of financial advice. If you want to know more, you need to meet with us specifically so that we can look at your situation specifically.
Right.
But there are some milestones, some things that you must do. You
Yeah.
must do in order for this to go. And that's what we teach in our How Money Works. Thank you
Right.
for the love. Even if we got one, listen, more importantly, share this information. More importantly, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Aaliyah's promising to dance for you next week. I'm just kidding.
TikTok. I'm hoping that they don't get rid of TikTok because I haven't mastered it yet.
Did you see that? They're saying that they're going to get rid of TikTok. Listen, I don't believe they're going to get rid of TikTok because what are they going to have to do? There's going to be after TikTok, it's going to be something else pops up. They're going to be banning everything. So I think that it's more like they're going to come up with some rules or whatever, some things that these people are going to have to abide by in order to continue to work. But TikTok is making some people some money.
Yes,
right?
it really
People
is.
don't want to, right? But our former president, Mr. Orange Man, he wanted them to not ban it because he didn't want Facebook to be getting all. He said if you ban TikTok, everybody gonna go to Facebook, so don't get them no more money. So hey, I see that they didn't listen to him, but I don't know what's gonna happen in the Senate. I haven't followed today, but I know it passed. It passed in the House, but it went on to the Senate, but we don't know. So
I look at the news in the evening and in the morning, and that's it. And during the day, I'm just so busy, I don't have the time. But we have to really realize, we talked about money. Money's not taboo. Talk about it. Learn about it.
That was our number one thing today. Talk about money. Lady Farley, thank you so much. She said that was awesome. And thank you. I enjoyed you today. It was wonderful.
Yes,
we will be back every second Tuesday. Second Thursday and fourth Thursday. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. Enjoy and have a great one.
Thank you, guys. Bye. Bye, everybody.